All grouped. You can't use those chairs. Well, you shouldn't be here if you got a bad back.
Wade.
Yeah. Oh, is that right?
Oh my God, it's on. Not yet, Heather. Waiting for one more little piece of equipment. It's a whole new system from what we have. Be very aware of your microphones. When we go in camera, make sure they are off, please. Or actually, no, they'll have to stay on. They'll have to stay on. Never mind. But just on and off when you want to talk, or else Gordon and Janelle won't be able to hear you. Okay? This is our first meeting with our new system, so everyone's gonna have to get used to some stuff. We could give
This is
Graham the
why-
pendant.
Is he talking?
You want the pendant, Mike? So you can be in quarantine and still participate? We can put you in the hall, even.
For then your own room, you can zoom in.
Yeah? Yeah? I don't know what the reach is on them. Yours is off, is Jimmy's on? Jimmy, is your microphone on? Yeah, okay. So I have to remember, start.
Oh my God.
I call the committee of the whole meeting, October 23rd, to order. And again, I would like to reiterate to the counselors to use your mics so everybody can hear. Thank you for that. First order of business is disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. You can declare it now or at any time during the meeting. We have no delegations. And we'll begin with committee of the whole reports, administration and employees, lease agreement, minister of infrastructure. Who would like to address that?
Can speak to that. So you have the report in front of you. As everyone knows, Infrastructure Ontario, which oversees court rentals, has used our building. They were even back in the old building. So we do have agreements with them. I believe they're 4 years, fixed rate. We haven't had an increase in the base rent for many years. So we went for an increase, received it, and no other major changes with the agreement. Happy to answer any questions that you might have. Hearing none, we'll be bringing forward an agreement to the council part. Thank you.
Moving on, Public Works, Airport and Waste Management Department update, and I guess I'll turn it to Tyler. And Tyler, if you could speak, yeah, sorry.
There we go.
Working on it. So, as you guys know here, every meeting, I guess, the different departments doing an update. Obviously, we used to do these in committee meetings, but don't do that anymore. So I'm assuming everybody read the update. I'll touch on a couple of the higher level points and then see if anybody has any questions, but obviously the first one, water repairs, we're at 17 breaks already this year, most of which are on the main line itself. Several of those are problems that happen at the water treatment plant. Of course, these are not cheap to fix, nor are they easy in terms of labor and materials, but we're keeping up on them. The O'Brien project, I think we touched on that last week too. We got our preliminary drawings and we're looking to get a tender call out kind of late November, early December, once we've had a chance to review and edit so that it can be kind of our preliminary number for the budget. The Mercury culvert, of course, we know it's all behind schedule. We're doing everything we can to get it back on track and we're expecting to see the contractor here this week is what they've told us. So we'll see if that pans out and then hopefully the road will be opened up late November to allow traffic flow again. Paving, as you guys see, Mark Street is complete now. We just finished up the rest of the patches around town, so they'll be shipping out of here pretty shortly. Everything went pretty smooth for the most part. The budget, so with the exception of Mercury and Mud Lake, we're expecting to actually come in on budget or slightly under, which would be nice. And then we've started to work on our 2024 budget as well. We had our inspections, everything was looking good there for water and wastewater. And we're continuing to work with the stakeholders in the community for some of the large projects that are going on. We have the OAHS housing project over by the hospital. We have a project with the hospital. Hydro One obviously is doing a fair bit of work over at the Mackenzie transfer station, I believe they call it. So we're doing what we can to support everybody. And I mean, I'm sure I'm missing a couple, but it's the high level version.
Are there any questions for Tyler concerning this report? Councillor Shine?
Thank you, Chair Johnson. Is that the right word? Okay. Tyler, are we going to be, or Jason, are we going to be the water treatment plant representatives going to be coming in doing a presentation at some point?
They typically do come in. I think that's after their year-end report, not after the inspection. But we can certainly reach out and see if they would be willing to do that again this year. Different crew like running things over there, so I'm not sure if they'd be able to, but I think with the new system here with the virtual participation, they probably shouldn't have too much objection.
Wonderful, thank you.
Couple questions, if I may. Tyler, I see the ICI recyclable pickup. Wasn't that under the contract for GFL? They don't do that?
Nope. The province mandated that only for residential collections. So whenever you guys see your ministers and that, then that's certainly one to be bringing up at NOMA and Roma or whatever all the other acronyms are. It was, I think, in my opinion, a big problem that they missed. And I know a lot of other municipalities are having a hard time dealing with that as well.
So then we're going to have to absorb the cost of picking ICI recyclable up and store it?
Yes. So currently we are collecting IC and I recycle. We were discussing with GFL what the cost would be to have them grab it while they're here. And then the only other option that we really have in terms of cost recovery would be to charge the business for recycling. One thing we really don't want to do is start making it problematic to recycle, right? We've really been doing good lately getting diversion going and keeping all that recyclable material out of the landfill. So we're really trying to keep that going where possible.
Good move. So have we entered into an agreement with GFL to rent space at the landfill to store that?
They don't, because they take it all back to Thunder Bay now, so they don't need a spot at our landfill anymore.
Okay. Chair recognizes Councillor Janelle.
Thank you, Chair Johnson. Tyler, the Mercury culvert, is it still the original issues that are putting us behind, or are there new, different issues?
Same stuff, right? Designs have changed, designs changed and then material, setbacks as well. It's not great, but it's what we're left with.
All right, thank you.
Counselor Shine?
So-
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Chair Johnson. With the delays that you're anticipating, are you hoping to be able to get it done before the frost starts setting in?
Yeah, that's the plan. Obviously, we're hoping to get it done as soon as possible. We're not gonna be paving both lifts, so at least if there is any settlement, we can tune that up next year before we do the final paving.
Just an added comment to your question regarding the depot for recycling. So we will be bringing forward next month an agreement with Circular Materials in regards to the depot at the pipeline. So it wouldn't be with GFL, but it's with Circular Materials.
And the question, if I may, the hazardous day pickup, that's gonna be held this year?
Finalizing that, like right after I sent my report out, so.
So will a list of hazardous material be put out for the public to know what they can bring and where?
Yeah, I believe, Leah and Mike are working on getting the word out here as much as we can, so.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Any other questions? Counselor Martin?
You,
Chair Johnson.
Chair Johnson. Tyler, who's overseeing the work that PDR is doing on that culvert? Is that you or somebody else? Okay. And, how many change orders have been signed off on thus far?
The works, roughly. There haven't been a
I
lot.
think there's like 5 or 6, but 2 were revisions.
Okay. One more question. Were there design flaws in the culvert? Is that why that got changed?
We changed the designs, in an effort to save the municipality money at the time.
Okay. Somebody thought the culvert was in town at one point and then it left town. Is that misinformation? Okay. Okay, good.
No further questions. We'll move on to C2, the report to council on sand and gravel. I'm sure Tyler will speak to that.
So, this was a bit of a late one, but we just got it, the tenders just closed on Friday, so we were trying to at least get it in here so we could get started on it early enough. As you guys know, we typically crush, granular A and winter sand, right, for sanding roads and then building said roads. We've always done it in sort of larger quantities and we leave them out at the pit and then we need them. So basically just since we've done the last set of those procurements, we've used up all the material and we just need a bit more. You can see the tender quotes were quite varying between the 6 companies that we did have bid on it. We did actually have one other bid from a local contractor, but unfortunately it was received after the deadline and we couldn't accept that. So came in favorable on the low bids for sure. You'll see the granular A, as I explained, we'd put 50,000 into each budget line for granular A and winter sand. Granular A did come out just slightly above that budget number, but winter sand came in significantly lower than that budget number, which is great. So you see, we have 3 options. Basically, we just take the tenders as they are, give the quotes and go on as that. We can look at taking a little bit of granular A out of the quantity, or what would be my recommendation and is my recommendation is to pay for the extra granular A out of the winter sand budget. And then we can also still at that point actually double the amount of sand that we were looking to get and come in with a considerable savings when you account for the municipal tax rate.
So are you gonna make a recommendation to us which bid to accept?
Yeah, that's what I got right on the bottom here. So I would say take the low bidder, BJ Hallow for granular A. They'll come in and crush in the pit and stockpile it there. We would be recommending Hack Oil Construction for the screening of the winter sand. Again, they'll come in with a screening plant and screen us a big pile of sand. I've already talked to both contractors. BJ Hello is fine doing granular only because these were two separate RFQs. So they're fine only taking the granular A. They weren't thinking they were gonna do them both at the same time. And Hack Oils is also fine to do just the screening of the sand. So
And is there room in the pit for both of them set up at the same time, or are they allowed to be done at different times?
no, they'll be fine because the crush plant usually goes up in the north end of the pit and then the sand usually down in the south. So shouldn't be too big of a problem to get them both in there.
Any other questions for Tyler?
We'll probably be looking to add a resolution for that.
We just need some direction as to from council as to what they want in the resolution, because we do have two already done. But we just want to make sure that council is in agreement to, let's see, approve the increase to the winter sand contract so that they can get more rather than the 15. So it's up to council if they just want to award the $15,000 or add more. So I just need to know that, and then we can get the resolution passed at the next council meeting.
Well, that's an unbelievable price for the winter sand, so I think we should take advantage of it. Oh, I know, it's incredible. Chair recognizes Janelle, not Councilor Janelle.
Thank you, Chair Johnson. So what would be the final price then if we were going to increase? Are we just doubling it? So it would be 30,000, or what's the final number there?
Yeah, we would basically just double the quantity, so 30,000 plus taxes. All said and done, I think we should still be roughly 20,000 under budget, so.
Incredible.
Can I speak?
I recognize.
Thank you. For Councillor Zacharias, just so you know too, the resolution will state that we're not to exceed the original budget for the winter sand of 50,000.
Why we didn't fill it all the way up and try to like triple that number, just save us a little bit of wiggle room for dealing with oversized materials and things like that once you get digging into it.
Wicked. Any more questions concerning? Martin?
Thank you, Chair Johnson. Tyler, when these RFQs get issued or you're asking for tenders, is it normal to not put them in the paper? Like they probably, did they used to get in the paper when you're asking for quotes on things, or
Yeah, this one was in the paper.
it was?
Yeah.
Okay,
Fortunately, we missed the Tuesday deadline right
Okay.
after Thanksgiving, but it made it in this week. It went out on Facebook and the website, I believe. And we also reached out to any of the local contractors that we knew were interested and let them know that it's been released and offered to just forward the documents directly
Yeah.
at that time.
and does this work for all projects in town, or you're just talking sand and gravel, or like other projects that you're doing, are they typically just on the website, or you just send them out to contractors?
Generally try and advertise everything as widely as we can because it never hurts to get more bids, so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, moving on to C3, amending agreement Automotive Materials Stewardship Incorporated.
Sounds me too. So this one is pretty much a no-brainer. So as you guys know, we hold the Municipal Hazardous and Special Waste Day is what the new word for it is. Everybody knows it as Household Hazardous Waste Day. A part of that is we do get reimbursements for the costs that we incur for holding this event and processing these materials. So we have an agreement with AMS here, that's Automotive Materials Stewardship. They deal with basically coolants, oil and filters, things like that, like old automotive parts. Basically, it's just an amendment to get us an extra roughly 15.9% remittal back. So they're paying us more now to offer this service. So hard to fight that one.
Any questions? Tyler, I have one. Propane tanks, will that be included in the hazardous?
It will, nothing to do with AM.
No, yeah.
We will be including that with the hazardous waste day.
No other questions? Thank you, Tyler, for them reports. Appreciate it. Moving on to, that's it. That was short. Moved by Counselor Shine, seconded by Counselor McQuay, that we move into in camera. All in favor? Oh, for why? Personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local boards. All in favor?
I'd like to call to order the council meeting, the 25th meeting of the 40th Council, October 23rd. And to start off, we will start with a moment of reflection. Okay, moving forward, additions and approval of the agenda. Yes, Clerk Bates.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. We would like to add, under Public Works, number C and D. C would be award granular A contract and D would be award winter sand contract. Need, a majority of council to approve that, if they would, please.
In favor? Okay, that's carried. Okay, moved by Councilor Shine, seconded by Councilor McQuay. Resolved that the agenda for the 25th meeting of the 40th Council be approved as amended. In favor? Carried. Thank you for that. Next is disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. You could claim it now, or you can claim it anytime during the meeting. Next is minutes from the previous meeting. Committee of the whole meeting minutes from October 10th. Moved by Councilor Shine, seconded by Councilor McQuay. Resolved that the minutes of the Committee of the whole meeting held October 10th, 2023 be received and filed. In favor? Carried. Next is in-camera meeting minutes from October 10th. Moved by Councilor Shine, seconded by Councilor McQuay. Resolved that the minutes of the in-camera meeting held October 10th, 2023 be adopted as written. In favor? Carried. Next. Oh, yes, Councilor McQuay?
Procedural question. I declared a conflict for those meetings, so am I still able to move? Just wanted to make sure with that. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Good question. Thank you. Next minutes is the meeting minutes from October 10th. Moved by Councilor Johnson, seconded by Councilor Shine. Resolved that the minutes of the 24th meeting of the 40th Council held October 10th, 2023 be adopted as written. In favor? Carried. Okay, any matters arising out of these minutes? Yes, Councilor Shine.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. I almost called you chair. Just for Councillor Johnson's attention, Lois Fenton will be forwarding us all the stats for visitors that you had requested to us. So as soon as I have the final report, I'll send them to you. They just have to be approved, okay? Oh, did she forward them to you? Okay, I wasn't sure if she sent them to you. Awesome.
Okay. Thank you, Counselor Shine. Next is Public Works Airport Waste Management. A, hire laborers. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Administration and Employee Relations, bylaw number 40-23. Moved by Counselor Shine, seconded by Counselor Johnson. Resolve that bylaw number 40-23 being a bylaw to adopt a hiring policy be read first, second, third time, and finally passed. In favor? Thank you. And next is bylaw number 42-23. Moved by Counselor Johnson, seconded by Counselor Shine. Resolve that bylaw number 42-23 being a bylaw to enter into an agreement with the Minister of Infrastructure for court services at Town Hall be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed. In favor? Carried. Now we'll go to Public Works. One for each person. Okay, this is good news for the town. Moved by Counselor Shine, seconded by Counselor Martin. Resolve that Brad Boudelier be hired as Public Works laborer. In favor? Carried. Moved by Counselor Shine, seconded by Counselor Martin. Resolve that Nick Colvin be hired as Public Works laborer. Favor? Carried. And lastly, moved by Counselor Shine, seconded by Counselor Martin. Resolve that Corey Hashi be hired as Public Works laborer. In favor? Carried. And next is bylaw number 41-23. Moved by Counselor McQuay, seconded by Counselor Martin. Resolve that bylaw number 41-23 being a bylaw to enter into an amending agreement with Automotive Materials Stewardship be read a first, second, third time, and finally passed. In favor? Carried. Okay, and we'll move on next to Atikokan Public Library.
It's just, it's not updated on your.
Oh, it's not updated, I see. Okay, so that one's not my
We
fault.
just did it, yeah.
Okay. Okay, the first one was.
Yes.
Okay, moved by Counselor McQuay, seconded by Counselor Johnson. Resolve that council award the Granular A contract to BJ Hallow and Sons Contractors Limited for the amount of $54,400 plus applicable taxes, and further be it resolved that council approve to make up the approximate $5,400 budget shortfall from the winter sand budget. Discussion in favor? Carried. Next is the winter sand, moved by Counselor McQuay, seconded by Counselor Johnson. Resolve that council award winter sand contract in the amount of $15,000 plus applicable taxes to Hockwell Construction Limited. And further be it resolved that council approve an increase to the winter sand contract with Hockwell Construction Limited to utilize the savings of the project change, not to exceed the original budget. In favor? Carried. On schedule. Next is Atikokan Public Library, Counselor Zacharias.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. You all have the minutes. I think the most exciting thing is we have awarded JM&C the contract for the children's area, so that's gonna get started right away. Other than that, if anyone has any questions.
Any questions for Counselor Zacharias? Yes, Counselor Shine.
Mayor Ferguson, my question is actually for Jason. So in there, they talk about this splash day that they held with the Métis Association. So because she's a part of the municipality, did they still have to bring forward the $2 million liability?
If your question is, did they? I don't know. Should they? Absolutely. When we do any events with any organizations, we're always looking for that.
Even if you're
certificate of
part of the
insurance.
municipality, you still have to have it.
Certainly, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's my question. Thank you.
Counselor Shine. Anybody else? Any questions for Counselor Zacharias? Okay, hearing none. We'll go to number 2, bylaw number 43-23. Moved by Counselor Martin, seconded by Counselor McQuay. Resolve that bylaw number 43-23, being a bylaw to appoint Atikokan Public Library Board members to be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed. Who are your new board members, Counselor Zacharias?
Just one, and that is Pam DeGagne.
Thank you. In favor? Carried. Okay, Atikokan Centennial Museum, special report on visitors, October 12th. Councilor Shine, do you want to speak to that?
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. When we had our last board meeting, we discussed how some counselors were asking for specifics in regards to visitation statistics. So we asked her to put forward a report and to put as much information in there, hoping that this would help better understand how busy the museum has actually been over the last little while. So that's why we did that. And we've asked them to be very specific, and when they're giving their minutes from now on, to put detail in there that might make it easier to show how the museum is functioning. That was the whole purpose of that, because Councillor Johnson had asked for specific numbers.
Yes, Councilor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson, and I would like to show my appreciation for a detailed report. I appreciate the work put into it.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Thank you, Councillor Johnson.
Sorry?
Thank you, I said. And that's what we're trying to stipulate, is that we have a lot more detail in our minutes, so.
More questions for Councilor Stein on that? Okay, seeing none, we'll go to the curator's report.
Does everybody had a chance to read the minutes? Is there any specific questions in regards to that? It wasn't a very long meeting this time. We're actually, one of our members is updating all our bylaws for us, so we spent more time discussing that than actually things that have happened since the last meeting.
Is any other? Sean? We're gonna have to change the heading to Museum of Atikokan report. Threw me off on that. Thank you. Okay, that goes through the meeting, everything on the agenda. So moved by Councillor Martin, seconded by Councillor McQuay. Resolved that this meeting do now adjourn. In favor?